The secret to good baking is butter and love. Yeah, especially butter, though, from what I've seen. So we're going to talk about a few things in our EVO-related 5-5 matchup, wherein we discuss things and maybe disagree.
Yeah,
the intention behind this was to have some arguments, but it doesn't always occur.
Yeah, I think it's also just good to just kind of bring up topics that aren't like directly related to stuff, you know, and things like that. So we're going to talk about three main topics here, three pretty juicy topics all related to EVO, right? So we're going to talk about Sonic Fox's icing of Goichi, right? Because I know there has been mixed opinions on that one. We're going to talk a little bit about the Bayonetta situation with Smash 4.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about the prize pool payout because I've been having big old debates with people online about that one.
Yeah.
So which one do you want to go with first?
Let's talk about the tournament payout structure.
Okay, let's turn it.
What I'd like you to do is explain to me why you want to create a hyper-capitalist fat cat situation in which only the richest people continue to get even richer by maintaining high 60 or 70 split payouts for first place.
Mostly the reason you're doing things just so you can eat, basically.
Maybe so.
Now. Yeah. Okay. So the main reason why, honestly, is because I still remember the year that Cien did not get paid a bunch. They did the spread. They tried to spread it a lot more, and the backlash from that has definitely been a lot higher. The backlash was so high that they changed it back the next year. That's how bad it was, right? The backlash for the low spots aren't as much. And even just earlier, Joey Fury was tweeting like, dude, why did Low High get so little money for first place? Like, he only got like 9K. That's so low. Like, you deserve a lot more than that. The whole thing about it is I don't want to preserve a fat cat kind of situation. I'm saying that everybody who says, let's pay the 7th place more money, my question is, where does that money come from? It's not going to come from nowhere, so it's got to come from somewhere. And if you take it from the first place, the people are going to complain about that. The backlash was so strong the one year they did it that everybody was mad.
Eat the rich.
Right, so the question is, but here's the thing, right? You did win the tournament. You bested a bunch of people. You kind of deserve to have a big prize pool, right? You deserve to get a large amount of money. That isn't to say that everybody else doesn't deserve money as well. They all deserve money. Like, I think we need to get to the point where we pay top 16 or we're paying top 32, you know, depending on how many entrants there are. For something with 2,500 people, hell yeah, top 32 needs to get paid. My point is that where is the money coming from? And that's where a lot of people, like, you can complain about it, but nobody ever talks about the right way to get that money situation. You know what I mean? Everyone's always like, you should pay them more, and then there's no answer. And I'm like, that's fine. Where does this money come from? They're like, take it from first place. I'm like, here was the problem with that. And then people like, that's not valid because that's just a bunch of people on the internet complaining. And I'm like, what are you doing right now? You know what I mean? And so, like, it's a tough situation. It's a no-win situation. What needs to happen is there needs to be a means by which to get actual more money so that we can actually pay more of the players.
That's the goal, ultimately.
So whether it's through Matcherino, we do crowdfunding, but then Markman came and chimed in, and he said he tried to do crowdfunding. That King shirt that was sold at the 10-0 booth was meant to be crowdfunding for the Tekken prize because Bandai Namco didn't give a pot bonus for Tekken this year. That's why Lowhigh only got $9,000, right? So he tried, but Japan's not on board with that kind of thing, and he couldn't quite get, you know, there was a lot of logistics behind getting the crowdfunding to work, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a tricky situation, in my opinion. It's a tricky situation. So what do? Do you raise the entry fee? Like, if you raise the entry fee, right, Smash Melee, 7th place guys, you know, Swedish Delight, etc., they got $170 or something like that, right? Yeah. If you double the entry fee, they get $340. Of course, compared to 170, that's like, wow, that's great. But if that was never in the first place,
twice as much,
they would still be complaining about 340 if it was already doubled in the first place. They'd be like, 340 is too low for blah, blah, blah. They'll only say that's, of course it's that much better because they already know they're getting 170. You know what I mean? There's that bias built into their brain already. So I don't think people would have been happy with 340. And then you're doubling the entry fees, and now a whole bunch of people are like, man, I have to spend so much money to go to EVO already, and now the entry fees are doubled. Screw that, I can't go, blah, blah, blah. Because when they raised the venue fee $20 one year, everybody was like, man, you're basically making it so I can't go to EVO anymore. Yeah. You know, people don't know the history of all of this stuff happening. And so when I see people complain about it, it makes me angry. It makes me like this because people don't understand that nobody is happy with any situation. And I want people to understand that everybody's trying their best to make everybody happy. It's just, it's hard because money doesn't come from nowhere. It has to come from somewhere, you know what I mean? And people just want to complain to complain. And this is the biggest problem with the internet, with social media, is that people complain and never offer a solution. And that's all I want from people, is I want people to offer a solution if you are a valid voice complaining about it. But nobody ever does, except for take it from first place, screw first place. Everyone who complains about that is stupid. And I just don't see that because, like I said, the backlash was worse when Cien won than in this situation that we have right now. Also, higher prize pools for first place has more prestige. If I go and talk to any random person, they ask me how much did first place get, and I tell them, if I say 5K, they're like, right? If you say 10K, they start to pay attention. When you say 100K, they're like, oh, this is legit. You know what I mean? There's also a presentation prestige to help us get to the point where we can pay top 32.
Sure.
If we lower the prize pool now, it will take us longer to get to the point where we can pay top 32. So we have to skew it a little bit high for now so we can get to that point. Done.
Cool. You got to rely on the job creators to create the jobs, right? That's you'll take into account the fact that there's just going to be demand. Demand will exist whether or not there's anything else going on. So just worry about supply.
Well, we're not big enough yet to really compare it to any sort of real world situation.
I've always thought the Democrats made a big strategic error in giving up on the patriotic aspect of paying taxes. Paying taxes is awesome. And I wish that there were politicians who would stand up and say, yeah, I don't want to tax you. Yeah. Because we need to pay for things. We need to live in a society. And in order to make that happen, yeah, rich people got to pay a buttload of cash. And they're going to complain about it. They always do. But that's how it's got to be if we want to have a livable society for everybody else. That's just how it is. Or else you end up in a situation like we have now where two people have $1 trillion.
Right.
That's not sustainable. So instead, yes, I want to take it from first place. Mm-hmm. That's definitely where I would find the money. I understand that people who finish in first place will complain. Also, sycophants who want the top to do well, even though they are already doing well, which is a big percentage of the population, both in the FGC and anywhere else, they'll also complain, thinking that they're just temporarily embarrassed millionaires who someday will also win a major tournament. And when that happens, they want to win $100,000 as opposed to 80. Instead, you need to just take it from the first place. And if there's going to be complaints either way, then I'd rather have the complaints exist in a situation where more than just the top 3 or 4 people can do this as a job.
Right.
So all else equal, I am more interested in maintaining more players than I am in propping up 1 or 3 highest level players. Yeah, take it from first place. First place gets 9,000 instead of 11. Fine.
Right.
And first place gets 7,000 instead of 9. Fine. If in doing so you can make this a viable thing for more than just 4 people, 3 people.
Do you feel like changing 7th place in Smash from 1-7 to 340 will make a difference for them to make it viable?
No, it needs to be more than that. Because it needs to be not 340. How much did Levin win? Do you know? I don't know.
It would be 60% of however many entrants there were. I think it was
1,500 or something?
1,500, yeah.
Is it times 10?
60% of that, so I think he made like...
So is there 15,000 in it and he made 60%? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
okay,
basically.
Fine. So
he made about 8,000 something.
Right,
he made about 8,500. 8,600, I believe it was.
So can he make 7,000? Is that okay? And in doing so, Swedish Delight can get $1,000 or $800 or $600-$700?
He wouldn't, because that money would have to be spread through everybody else as well. So Swedish Delight wouldn't make enough to actually make a difference for him.
Sure, no, that makes a significant difference. If you're making $500 or $600, that is a profit on the weekend. If you're making $340, maybe you have earned back your inputs. Maybe you've accounted for how much it costs you to travel. Probably not. I don't know where he lives, but it's probable that that's not enough. Whereas at $600, at that point, for most people's travel concerns, you're about breaking even. So in that case, it becomes sustainable for you instead of it being a problem and you have to be propped up by a team whose business model is unknown. And yeah, for sure I want to take it from first place. I
just feel like we're not at a point right now where that would make a significant difference to the people that are down there. You know what I mean?
If you can pay back your weekend, it's a big difference compared to not being able to. Big difference.
All right, so what I'm actually in favor of is changing it depending on the game and the payout system and the community. Okay. So one of the things about the Smash players with Leffen and Armada, I was talking to Armada about this as well. He was saying, I'd totally be down to let the money go and it would be a hit on me, right? But the thing about it is there are players like Problem X who, when they win EVO, could realistically never make top 8 at EVO again. And that's not saying anything about a skill, that's just the nature of the beast, right? With a guy like Leffen and Armada, Smash community is so consistent enough that the top players are always winning that money. You're always going to see Hungrybox and Plup and Armada and Leffen and those guys in the top 8. So if we want to spread it down on the Smash community, I'm actually super okay with that, because the same people are winning that money over and over again. So yes, it makes a big difference. But in the situation for something like Street Fighter, you make a top 8 at EVO, and barring the rare Tokido syndrome, it's really hard to continually do that. That when you do win something like that, you want to feel like you won a substantial prize, to have something that, was worth it for you. You know what I mean? And so, like I said, it needs to add to the prestige a little bit. Once we get to that point where we can realistically pay top 32, then yes, I want the first place to drop to something like 40%. I want that to happen. That is the absolute end goal for what is to happen. I want to spread all the way down so that everybody can live off of it and pay it. I just don't think we're at the point right now where we have enough money in the prize pool that it can make that difference. And I think it'll take longer for us to get to that point if we start now. I feel like it will make it harder for us to get to the point where we can actually pay these players. We have the same goal. We have the same end goal because of the prestige. Because when you talk to companies and potential sponsors, they have to hear those numbers and they go, this is a legit event. I want to be a part of this.
I get that for something like Capcom Cup. To make $150,000 sounds like it's a lot. Or wasn't it $250,000 actually? It was like a lot of money.
It was $250,000.
Giant amount. So I get it for giant pots like that. I understand that there's a prestige argument for that. But that said, $200,000 is a lot of money as well, and I don't think that cuts into the prestige of it. So although I get that there's an argument for the prestige, I don't think that it exists for EVO, where the difference would be between $7,000 or $9,000. It's not going to be $100. We're never going to do that. I don't think it exists for EVO, and I think that for bigger tournaments, you can still have the prestige while paying out more for the other players. You just don't. There's a level where $100,000 sounds like a lot already. $150,000 is a lot already. $200 is a lot already. It doesn't need to be $250.
Right.
So for the rest of the top 32, the people who make Capcom Cup, and same for the other leagues that are being run, I want to see more of more money reaching the players farther down, because that prestige, I feel, is not really significantly negatively impacted by doing so, while also making it viable for more people to be able to compete as a job if they want to.
Now, if we're talking about something like people have suggested moving, so right now EVO does like a 60 20 or 60% something, and then 20%, et cetera, et cetera.
60 and 20?
Yeah, I think so for first and second.
Wow.
If we can change it to maybe 55 or 50% and spread it down a little bit more, I think that would be okay.
I mean, it's better than 60 to 20 is crazy.
And, you know, I know a lot of people are also talking about EVO in terms of like EVO just must be sitting there making a shit ton of money. They need to put some of that money in the pot. I don't even know if that's true. Curly W just mentioned in the chat as well, because Curly W is like one of the best bracket makers in the world, right? Sure. So he offered his services up to EVO, and EVO's like they can't afford them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I suspect that EVO is not making a killing to the extent that each of the people organizing it is like getting rich off of it.
Right.
I think the event, I'm sure, pulls in a ton of money, but you gotta remember the costs involved, a gigantic amount. So I feel like it's probably not the case that like a Wizard is getting rich on it.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, that's the thing is like I'm hoping eventually we can get more sponsors, because Cool Kid got like $2,000. Right, he got over $2,000 for his 8th place spot. Right, it's pretty good. It's not.
I think a big part of that is because of the shirts, right? Yeah. No,
the shirts only paid out 9th through 32nd.
Okay, cool.
They used the shirts to pay out 9th through 32nd. Good. So, but Cool Kid didn't make $2,000 some.
That's great.
Right? So that's good.
For sure.
It's like I said, it's different for the amounts. You know, for obviously the prize pool is a big deal, and you know, for Tekken Low-High getting $9,000 was because Tekken didn't put in any pop bonuses into that as well. Nintendo has never put in a pop bonus into any of the EVO tournaments. Again, for me, it's like a case-by-case basis. Right now, with the Smash guys getting $170, it is really lame, and I'm happy that Leffen is giving some of his money. Awesome. In fact, I have no qualms about that at all, and I'm super happy for him.
Definitely.
Super proud of him.
Definitely.
I think that is a great move, right? So, like, if you told me, like, he shouldn't have done that, I would tell you to go away, basically, because he absolutely, he has every right to do that, right? Yeah. But the thing is, like, it was his decision, and I respect it. And I really, really respect it. And again, he has a chance to make that money again. A lot of people don't have that kind of situation. Rewind won EVO. Yeah. What are his chances of winning EVO again, even in MK11 and stuff like that? We don't know. He may never make a top 8 again, right? Probably so it's different with a lot of different games.
I think 60 is much too high. I feel like that has roots in the old times of only top 3 get paid. It's just the tournaments are not 100 people anymore. They're 1,000 to 2,000 to 2,500. It's got to be different than it used to be, and I want more people to be able to do this. You know, not just as a job. That's nice if somebody wants to do that, but it's also just there's a feeling to getting paid from a tournament. So at least getting your entry fee back. That's nice. It makes you want to do it more. Right. Like it's sort of a carrot to keep you engaged. It's not the only thing. Obviously, you have to want to play, but if you feel like you're really far away from ever actually making this into a thing for yourself, if that feels unattainable, then you're just not going to do it.
So the worry that I have,
less often anyway.
The worry that I have is that there just isn't enough money yet. That if you take it away from first, a lot of the people winning first won't believe that they can still make this a job.
Just don't believe it.
Because it's just not enough money yet.
I don't believe
not enough money yet. In the future, sure.
I don't believe that even $5,000. I don't believe that is not a reason to continue. All of the players winning tournaments are sponsored, right? All the players who won EVO are sponsored. Like 2 or 3 people throughout all the top 8s we discussed are not sponsored. So they're all doing something. But $5,000 is nice. It's a nice carrot to keep going.
Yeah,
it is.
People actually think ESPN pays EVO to broadcast.
I don't know.
That's not how it works usually. Those channels usually sell spaces and you buy the spaces.
Depends on it depends on the event certainly, but ESPN pays the leagues to broadcast.
Right, the big stuff. But like if you're small, like the one time MLG got on there a long time ago with Halo, they definitely paid ESPN to have that spot. So.
Yeah, I don't know what the EVO situation is. I'm not sure whether they paid or not.
Right. I'm not
but
sure
I mean, he's right that at least for some things, people have to pay ESPN. That seems unlikely to me in EVO's case, but I don't know either way.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. I have to look it up. So. I'll have to look it up to see how it works. But
in conclusion, bring back the 90% tax bracket at the top marginal rate that existed in the 1950s. Also make it so that inherited money is taxed extraordinarily high to prevent any hereditary upper class.
I'm not even sure what any of that But in any case, like I said, I just don't think we're quite there yet. I don't think we're quite there where we can do it as well as we want to, because the first place is having low payouts. Cien winning $5,000 for EVO, you know, like I said, that was a huge backlash, and everybody
There's going to be complaints either way.
Yeah.
Make it so that more people can play.
And like I said, I have the same end goal.
I know.
I have the same end goal. I've always argued that I want 7th and 8th to get paid more, and I want, you know, all the way paid through top 32, all the way through top 64.
Look, we both want the best thing for the scene, obviously.
Right.
It's just different ways of going about it.
I just don't think that we're actually at a point right now where it can be done realistically and would hurt us getting to that point a little bit more.
Well, so, I don't agree, but yeah, it's all right.
So there you go.
Hey, all right. Hey, we actually disagreed on something.
Right? And I felt like we both actually had really good points, so yeah.
Yeah, sure. All right, well, you want to move on to the next one? Talk about Sonic Fox and Goichi?
Sure.
Cool.
Okay.
So, in Grand Finals of Dragon Ball FighterZ at EVO, Sonic Fox beat Goichi 3-0 in winner's side. Then in Grand Finals, Goichi beat Sonic Fox in the first set 3-0. Then, Sonic Fox asked for a seat change. He wanted to change from 2-player to 1-player side. He asked if that's something that he can do. This is by his own account later on Twitter. He talked about it quite a bit. He asked if that's something that he can do. They discussed it. They translated it for Goichi. They had a coin flip to determine which side he would end up on. Sure enough, he got the side he wanted. He then 3-0'd Goichi in the second set of Grand Finals.
After Goichi looking very...
clearly upset about things, clearly frustrated for sure. So, since you started last time, I guess I'll start this time. I thought it was a very smart move. In retrospect, my take on it in the moment was that it was only to ice him. That's what I thought that Sonic Fox was trying to do to Goichi. Slow things down. Clearly, Goichi had the big momentum, right? So slow things down if you can, get rid of the momentum, see if you can do better in the next set. Instead, his claim is that it was because he feels like his movement's better on the first side.
Right.
And you can see that if you look at his results. Again, he first player side in winners finals, he 3-0'd Goichi. Grand finals on 2-player side, he got 3-0'd. Grand finals on 1-player side, he 3-0'd Goichi.
Right.
So they're clearly, well, at least there's some evidence that that side does matter. So I think it's very smart of him to try to play to the side that is stronger for him. I think that's really smart gamesmanship. I also suspect still that there was an intention to ice Goichi, which I love. I think that's so smart. I love the idea of playing the metagame, the game outside of the game. That term is often just applied to strategy in the game,
which
but
is never the right answer.
It's not the original meaning of that term. The original meaning of that term is the game outside of the game or above the game, and that is exactly what this kind of gamesmanship is about. I like it. So there, people made the immediate contrast between this and what happened in E-League Grand Finals when there was a E-League required break between the sets in Grand Finals. Right? It was E-League's choice. It wasn't the player's choice. My differentiation between the two is that in the case of Sonic Fox icing Goichi, there's still the battle between the players is continuing.
Right.
It hasn't been interrupted by a third party. Instead, one of the players decided of his own volition that there should be a break here. He wants the break here. That's something I've always been cool with.
Right.
I want the players to be able to continue their interaction, and if that means that if one player wants to take a break before the second set, they can do that.
Right.
That is allowed. If they want to call out some obscure rule, that's allowed. What I don't like is a third party, some outside influence saying, hold on folks, momentum's over. They're making the decision. I don't like that. But to the extent that it's both, like in E-League, I don't like E-League made the choice.
Okay.
But to the extent that it's the player's choice to ice or to delay or something like that. I think that is very much in keeping with the spirit and obviously the letter of FGC rules.
Yeah.
Hey, get him, Foxy.
I don't think Sonic Fox did anything wrong. I think it was perfectly correct. I mean, that's something that you can do. You can switch sides. It's in the rules. And it's always been in the rules.
You don't see it that often anymore. But, in fact, in previous times, it wasn't uncommon. In MK9, it was super common because one player had an actual real advantage.
Right.
Trades didn't exist in the game, and one player just got the trades. So it was a real reason to have that. And you know, back in the arcade days, it was more common, I felt, that players had like a side that they were good on. So if you knew that...
Apology Man would always fight for one side because of his firebrand. He could do the wall fireball thing better on one side than the other.
I remember at EVO was it Grand Finals that it was him versus Kane Blue River? Right, it was, right? Kane Blue River versus Apology Man Grand Finals? In any case, when they played at EVO...
that was Ray Ray. He fought Ray Ray in Grand Finals, Kane Blue River, right?
Oh, you may be right. But in any case, he did play against Apology Man.
Right.
And I remember, because I laughed about it so much, that we all knew that Apology Man's weak on the other side. And so Kane Blue River literally ran from the seats where they were on the stage to the setup to make sure that he got the right side. He literally ran there to make sure. And gamesmanship like that is awesome.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's just to settle those kind of disputes, you have the coin toss like they did. Maybe it shouldn't have taken as long to get the coin toss taken care of and explained to Goichi and everything like that. But
it was going to take some time.
Yeah, it was going to take some time. And like I said, that's just part of the rules, right? If Sonic Fox is being honest and he wasn't trying to ice Goichi, whatever. I mean, to be honest with you, with Goichi, you could tell he was not happy about it because even after the event was over, like you could tell he just didn't want to shake Sonic Fox's hand. I felt like he felt like that was a little extra dirty, you know, kind of thing like that. But you know, as a player, but the thing is, as a player, you have to realize what is legal, what's not legal, and you could just have him say, "Oh, I want to switch sides." You could be like, "Let's flip for it," and then just be done with it, not let it affect you. But unfortunately, I think it really did affect him.
I think it did too. So it's a bummer for Goichi, but look, man, you're playing a game, and games have rules. And within those rules, as long as you're in there, do whatever you can do.
Yep. And maybe even after the first game was lost, maybe Goichi should have asked for a side switch again. Maybe. Because I think you can side switch in between games.
I think that's true. I don't remember exactly, but I was trying to think.
It's an old school arcade rule, right? Yeah. Because you just are, because in arcade you definitely can be more comfortable on one side or the other, and so there were just rules put in place that whenever you lost a game, you could switch sides. I don't think that rule's ever changed.
I think you're right.
So if I was Goichi, I would have tried to fight for that other side back, you know, just to. Try to fight back a little bit on the meta game.
Well, and keep in mind, the first game in the second set of Grand Finals was really close. Sonic Fox didn't. It was not a blow up by any stretch. Sonic Fox had to close it out, clutch it out. Second and third games were not as close, but you know, Goichi. It's not like he came into that second set and got dusted.
Right. Exactly.
The score says 3-0, but the first game was much closer than that.
So I don't know. Actually, I'm sure the rules are in multiple languages. I would imagine they'd have to be. So
that would make sense. I hope they are in any case. Yeah.
But in any case, a lot of people are mad at Sonic Fox. They feel like he cheated. They feel like he kind of played dirty or whatever like that.
He did play dirty. If his intention was to ice rather than just to switch, then, you know, I don't mind calling it dirty, but it is within the rules.
Yeah. The question now is, how often are people going to try to do that on resets? And you know what? If they do, there's nothing wrong with it. That's absolutely legal to ask for a break, to go use the bathroom between sets or something like that. I would do that. You know what I mean? Dude, tennis players have used the Hawkeye cam to you know, when they challenge an in or out call, like you've seen them use that for an extra rest. Like they're not like they just played a super long thing. It's out and they're gassed, they're winded, and they'll be like whatever, and then they can just stand there for a second. You know, they have used medical timeouts just so they can talk to their coach or whatever like that. Things like that happen all the time. You know what I mean? It's just as long as it's in the rule set, it's legal. So I don't even think it's a problem. So
I am with you.
Yep, medical timeouts too.
It might be that Goichi wouldn't do the same thing, but there are also players who insist on playing low tier, and that's not something that you need to do. That's your choice. If you know, don't blame anybody else if you insist on playing Q for your entire life. It's nobody's fault but your own.
Yep, exactly. So I just don't think it's a problem. So.
All right.
Smash 4.
Ah, yes.
Smash 4 Bayonetta situation. So at some point in time, obviously, as we mentioned, there's 3 Bayonettas in top 4, and only 1 Japanese player got into 3rd place, right?
Not playing Bayonetta.
Not playing Bayonetta. Once he was eliminated and there was only 2 Bayonettas in grand finals, well, the whole time they were booing, right? So a lot of people saying it was the outside crowd that was booing, but that definitely is not the case because the FGC crowd has been known to cheer for Wobbles and cheer for a Hungry Box, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't play the game. I find Bayonetta kind of silly to watch, but like, I get hype when she does the big combo. I think it's cool looking.
Yeah, and the Smash community hates it because they do not think she plays within the spirit of the game, like Jigglypuff.
Clearly very strong.
She's very, very strong, and after Captain Zack eliminated Niantono, the audience booed, and Captain Zack flipped everybody off. And then when the grand final started, him and Lima basically sat there and charged their supers and just were talking and laughing, weren't even playing. And Bear had to come up and be like, you guys are going to get DQ'd if this happens.
Yeah.
And so they played out their match and everything like that. So I guess I'll start first. So my take on the situation is, look, fighting game community has been dealing with this forever, right? I mean, we've had top tier forever winning everything. You go into Third Strike expecting to see Chun Yun Ken, and maybe the occasional Makoto, or, you know, if Kokujin's there, you're going to see Dudley, right? But outside of that, it's just Chun Yun Ken. Dude, that's why Third Strike was always considered so boring at EVO Top 8s, because it was always Chun Yun Ken,
That was not an uncommon sentiment.
Right, exactly. So it was something that people could play. MVC2 has always been the same, like, 4 main teams over and over and over again, right? People loved that. You know, they were excited by it. So as a fighting game community, we just learned to accept these things and we just learned to fight it. And I know the Smash community has a very, very strong inkling to want to control everything. So they want to control it. They want to ban Bayonetta because they think she ruins the game. You know, she's in the game. She's not like super OP. Like, let's talk Akuma status and Super Turbo. It's not to that level. She hasn't won every single event ever. So that's just something you just have to accept in your game. That's just the way it is. And I think booing the players is poor taste. I think that's bad. I actually don't blame Captain Zack for flipping everybody off or trying to troll them in the start of grand finals and everything like that. Obviously, they can't do that because that just sucks.
Yeah, that is breaking the rules.
Right, that is breaking the rules. But in my opinion, I don't blame them for getting mad because it sucks. You're winning, you're doing well at this event, and all you're doing is getting booed by everyone just because you play this character that everybody dislikes, that everybody else can use.
They can.
Right? So, I don't know. I just think it's fine. So
It's an unusual situation where fans of the game itself are so against one of the characters in the game. I mean, in Third Strike, for example, it is true that a lot of people felt that it got boring when Chun Yun Ken started to become the big deal, but big Third Strike heads are cool with it. I actually really enjoy watching Chun. I don't mind her. I think her footsies are really fun. And that's the same with a lot of... If you're like a Third Strike player, you understand that it's going to be like that, and you find enjoyment in it, right? It's the same with Marvel 2, as you mentioned, as top-heavy as it is. That doesn't mean that... Like, nobody watches that game who cares about Marvel 2 and thinks, oh, another Sentinel.
Another MSP.
That's really rare for any fighting game. I'm not sure that I can come up with another good example off the top of my head of that occurring. I mean, Elena, people ripped on a little bit at the end of Street Fighter 4. Maybe more than a little bit, but I wouldn't say it was to the degree of what Bayonetta gets in Smash 4. It doesn't seem like that level. It was more of like an annoyance maybe, or like doesn't need to be like this or whatever. But I don't recall anybody like flipping off people or
right.
I don't remember that happening. So I think that's really rare. maybe there are a couple situations. Oh, Vanilla Phoenix actually may be a good example. But in any case, it's really rare that that's occurred in...
What about Aquaman? They were saying Aquaman in Injustice early on and stuff like that. That wasn't even... People weren't even mad about that, right? So,
yeah, I mean, that's silly. It's just like regular tier complaints. I'm talking about like being so opposed to a character that you are going to boo that...
They walked out.
A good chunk of the crowd walked out. Of the actual Smash 4 players and fans walked out. How often has that ever occurred? So that is a big bummer. I don't know what is to be done about that, right? But if you're somebody who is really into Smash 4, I feel like one of a couple things must occur. One is that you have to just accept that it's in the game, and if you don't like it, then you can play another game. There are a million games out there. Another one is
Alien. Yeah.
Okay, Kokonoi is a good example.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's never happened, but it's very rare. I'm not opposed to banning her. That's fine with me. In a game that I play and care more about, I would be opposed to banning characters. But if the scene itself, it's a different scene. I mean, there's, as we've often discussed, a lot of crossover between Smash and other fighting games, but there's a lot of idiosyncrasies too.
Right.
It's definitely its own thing. If they want to ban it, that's fine with me. It doesn't matter.
I mean,
honestly.
At this point in time, they might as well.
I mean, it's too late now.
Because Smash Ultimate is coming out, right? So that's what I mean. It might as well. So at Smash events where they continue to play Smash Wii U, might as well just ban it, if they hate her that much.
That's fine, but if they want to do that, that's fine. But the worst case situation is what is currently happening, which is that a bunch of people claim that they are into Smash 4 and yet hate part of it so much that they walk out or boo without banning that thing that they hate so much. Like, that's the worst case scenario.
Well, I mean, they're arguing right now. I'm sure there was a lot of debates on whether they should ban it or not.
There were. I remember them happening.
Right, yeah. So obviously they agreed not to ban it. So a lot of people out there who are pro-banning it are probably just going to be really upset at it.
Probably.
And use this as like, see, I told you kind of thing.
Sure.
But...
I mean, I think that there can be situations where a game is better off if you ban a character, even if the character isn't ruinously strong. I don't know that is a common thing, but I think it's like conceivable to me.
What would be a good example?
I'm not really sure. I'm just saying I think it's conceivable that could be the case.
Okay.
And maybe this is one of them. But for sure, what they have right now is the worst case. So, adapt, fine, or change the rules. But right now, it's the worst case scenario. So that's something's got to change. Maybe the game. Maybe the game is what changes.
I think it's going to be a big difference because Ultimate, I've heard Bayonetta is not nearly as strong over there. But see, why would you even ban Ice Climbers and Melee? They're not even top characters in that game, even with wobbling.
Yeah, I mean,
there's nothing.
It's not something that I would want. That's not it's not the style of the scenes that we come from. But I do understand that Smash comes from a different place. So,
Right.
But Melee certainly has... if you're not going to ban Fox, you're not going to ban anything.
Right, exactly.
Right?
I mean, Fox is the most broken...
That character's wild.
I've got a one-frame, jump-cancelable shield that, does all sorts of crazy things. I don't understand. I don't understand. And even Mango has been like, dude, Ice Climber's not even a problem. Yeah. He's like, they're so easy to beat. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Yeah, it's one-frame safe DP. God, Fox is...
I don't want characters in the other games to be banned. I just, nowadays it's so rare that a character is so strong that it requires banning. But on top of that, the rest of the FGC comes from a place where you didn't change things like that. You didn't ban things unless it was ruinously oppressive.
Right,
in the case of ST Akuma, which is very rare.
Yeah, so. Exactly. So, okay. Well,
But yeah, I mean, it sucks for now. I feel bad for Captain Zack and Lima. Personally, that's the people who I feel bad for more are them.
Right.
If you hate a part of the game so much as a fan that you would boo or walk out, just stop watching the game. It's easily solved. Whereas if you are somebody who wants to win at the highest level of things and you make it easiest for yourself to do that, props for you.
So let's say there was no Ultimate. What would you say is the right thing to do for the community at this point in time?
I don't know, man. It's not my community, but I mean, like I said, either have people adapt to things and just I don't know how you change the culture, but ideally you change the culture. I don't know how that would happen, or you ban her, whatever.
Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting situation. Hopefully the next game will solve a lot of that problems, because I know a lot of the Smash Wii U players are looking forward to moving on to the next game already. It's going to be a faster paced game. It's going to be a lot of interesting. Oh, we'll talk about this later on during announcements, even though this is not a technical EVO announcement, but there's definitely some cool announcements. So
I just don't want to come at the Smash games with rule sets that I feel that they need to abide by, because I remember when the FGC in general was having that happen to them,
right.
And we all hated it. And the folks at MLG and other big tournaments that were trying to make rules that for FGC events that they were hosting that we didn't like, their thought was, well, fighting games are just an esport. Like, we're the same scene. So what's the problem with abiding by our rules, by our esports rules? They're, we're all the same things.
Right.
And I don't want, I know we've talked about this and you have said that you agree, that we don't want to say that, well, just because we consider Smash games fighting games, that
we have to apply all of our rules.
Yeah,
to them.
right. Yeah, I get that there are differences between the scenes and the subgenres. So.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I mean, it is a tough situation. I'm not sure what they're supposed to do, but maybe Smash.
I think Melee's sick, man. I hope Melee never dies. It's such a good game. It's so fun to watch.
And Fox is your favorite character.
Ban Fox, but everything else is fine.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, because that's the whole thing, right? There's a lot of playing within the spirit of the game in the Smash community. And I think one of those things, that's the reason why a lot of people don't think Fox is broken, because he plays within the spirit of the game. He's trying to fight you, he's rushing down, it's a very close range, whereas Jigglypuff sits there and camps on the ledges and things like that. And Bayonetta can kill you at super low percentages with combos, and Witch Time is super good.
Yeah,
it could be a dodge in the air and cause Witch Time and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't like anything based off of spirit of the game kind of things like that with video games, because it's just like I come from the era of sucking things up, you know what I mean? You're just like, roll canceling, well, this is broken, let's learn to play with it. We can't do anything about it, so,
645, I don't think it's true that FGC in any sense appreciates Smash more just because we have wanted to have rule sets like allowing items and stuff. That is to say, including more of the game in tournaments rather than just boiling it down to as competitive as possible. I don't think you can make any value judgments really about who appreciates the game more. It's just they're just different takes on it. To me,
I like the idea of competitive Melee without items. You know what I mean? So I like how it is, and I think if they can control it, then that's absolutely what they should do. So, but like I said, the only way you can control Bayonetta is just by banning her or not. So.
I have a news.
No,
pretty good character.
No competitive Power Rangers.
I don't think there is.
Wasn't even Anime EVO.
Do you ban Pet Shop?
Pet Shop was which game again?
JoJo's.
Oh, was he?
The bird character who doesn't have. You can't hit him low because he just doesn't have a hurt box. He's just flying. And he does crazy damage. He has a small hurt box regardless. He's really tricky stuff. Do you ban him?
From what people are talking about, sounds like yes. Japanese do not ban Akuma and Sagat. That is absolutely not true. Japanese soft ban him. Both Old Sagat, Hyobal Vega, and Akuma are all tournament legal.
Right.
People just don't do it for honor, basically.
I think it's a really fun distinction between the U.S. scene and the Japanese scene, where we're like writing legalistic rules because some idiot's going to do the thing unless you ban it, right?
Right.
So, okay. Whereas Japan is like their rules are more like social in general, like unspoken relatively, right? And so you just trust that people won't do the terrible thing.
Right.
It's just like a very different take.
Honestly,
but very similar results because nobody plays ST Akuma. And
right. Well, there have been ST Akumas
you're right.
in Japan. I've seen it before.
I've seen it too, but it's almost never.
Yeah, and the reason why everyone gets so salty at Mao is because he has absolutely no qualms about heel-balling you to death. Yeah. And he just kills everybody. So,
Very funny.
There you go. Okay.
Different scenes.